Bonjour, my name is Dan Noren, and this is my Bulldog story. I started teaching French here at Ferris in August of 1985. So if you do your math, that's about 31 years. So I teach French. I also teach the French honors class, French literature honors. My mother's side of the family came from Sheboygan, Michigan. Her mother, my grandmother, came from Sheboygan. Then my dad came from Kansas, but they met at North Park College in Chicago, which is a little Christian school, and they were called to be missionaries, and they went out with the Covenant Church to Congo in 1951. And both my brother and I were born in Congo, so we're African Americans in that sense. And I still speak an African language from Congo, Lingala, and I picked up French, of course, in Congo too, because French was the language of colonization of the Belgians. So I grew up speaking French in Congo, and I lived there until I graduated from high school. So I truly feel I feel like I'm an African in some ways, and I think like an African in some ways too. And sometimes it has gotten into me. It's gotten me into some interesting cultural, clashes with Americans that they don't quite understand why I say things the way I say them sometimes, or think the way I think. I had a great high school French teacher at the Ubangi Academy in Congo, and it was a school for missionary kids, American kids abroad, basically. And so my French teacher in high school is who really got me interested in French, and so I went on and did my Bachelor of Arts in French at North Park College, where my parents went, and then on to Madison, Wisconsin, because my French teacher from high school went through Madison, Wisconsin, so I did my master's there, and then my Doctor of Modern Languages, Middlebury College in Vermont. So that's pretty much my academic background. But basically I teach French, and I do study abroad programs to Francophone countries with students. Martinique, little island in the French Caribbean, the French Antilles, and of course France. Number of those. I've probably done about 10 programs to France and 4 or 5 to Martinique. And I even take people to Kenya every now and then, because that's my Africa connection. I go back to Kenya or to Congo whenever I can too. Teaching is fun, and I enjoy teaching, so I want to make it fun also. But obviously you want to make it so students learn, not just to have fun, but to learn. So I pretty much have a methodology that's hands-on. We do play a lot of games. I believe in playing games. Games are what we call realia, a real experience in the classroom, which is tough because you got 4 brick walls. If you play games, that's a real life experience. And so that's one way to learn. I really like teaching at Ferris because, for one thing, the people here are just wonderful people. And the students come from all over the place. They all have their own stories to tell. They all have their own personalities. They all add a wonderful, kind of flavor to the classroom. So here in West Michigan, where we are, it's quite rural. I like rural because I grew up in rural Africa. So for me, the rural life is the best. I went to school in Chicago for 5 years. Chicago's a great city, and I lived there for 5 years, but I wouldn't want to live in a big city like that. And I'm definitely a rural person. So teaching here in rural West Michigan, and the kinds of people you meet here, and of course the colleagues. I don't know of any place where you would meet nicer people to work with, and from all walks of life, and very interesting backgrounds and stories. So I really I love this place.